And we're live to everybody. You're welcome to this other session from the think tank. And we have the amazing sales and marketing team here who are going to bring you insights on what you should be doing in your business now. So I'm going to hand straight over to Mary, who's going to chair this conversation. And we're joined by leaders from around the world. So you're very welcome. And I'm really looking forward to learning myself from this. See you all soon.
Thanks, Ronan. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody's doing well out there, or as well as you can be. I'll have to be very honest. I've had some great days and some not so great days this week. Some of y'all have heard about it because I had a full-on panic attack the other day, and I just got it over with and went to bed early. And now I'm just moving ahead and doing some things. And this team that we put together today, I want everybody to introduce themselves just because there are a few new people. But just want to make sure that everybody knows where you are, where you're from. And we're going to be talking today about some things that we're doing in our business right now, either fixing or improving on some things we already have done, but we know we can do better because we've been learning and listening, or some great ideas that we're implementing that are just going to help us when we come out of this be stronger than ever before. So I'm going to start up in what's my left-hand corner with Jonathan, and just introduce yourself and where you're from, and maybe what you're going to, just a brief little bit of what you're going to talk about today.
Hi guys, sure. So I'm Jonathan Ryle. I'm from Ireland. I'm excited to be here. So today I'm going to have a little chat with you guys about Facebook ads and funnels and how you can be using them right now to kind of generate some leads for your business.
And I'm very excited about that because that's a big part of our business right now. I'm going to move over to my friend from really further up north, Catherine. Mute. Catherine, you're muted.
I'm Catherine Langsford. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. And I'm going to talk, I think I'm going to give an example of a campaign that's worked well for me that takes a bit of lead time, so it's perfect for now. And a sales tip that's helped me with closing sales these last couple of years, so I'll share those things.
Awesome. And Catherine is a killer salesperson. I heard her speak for the first time in Italy last year, and I still go back to those notes. She's got some great information. Marnie, my friend from Kentucky, Marnie, and I just gave away where you're from, but that's okay.
I'm from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. We can go detailed. That's what we'll do.
There you go.
And I'm going to talk a little bit today about some things that we are doing, just social media type marketing, to try to stay connected to our clients and to, provide a little bit of positivity and distract them from just all the junk they're dealing with right now.
Love it. Damian.
Hello, Mary. My name's Damian McGillicuddy. I'm from the Northwest in the UK, a county called Cheshire, and I'm going to talk about a marketing strategy that we've implemented that we've coined the phrase of moral marketing.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Audrey?
Hi, my name is Audrey Willard, photographer out of Chicago. Began my career as a children's and family photographer, but I'm big on relationships, and as my clients grew, I am now teen photographer of Chicago. So what I'm going to talk about today, kind of what Marnie mentioned, I'm going to dive into social media, how to use that for our businesses today. And I'm also just going to share one of the campaigns that I'm running right now, which have gotten a lot of great feedback and booked clients as well while we're on this stay home order here in Chicago. So thanks for having me.
Thanks, Audrey. Looking forward to that. Yeah, Marnie's going to talk about some things that she's actually doing. You guys we're both using social media, as well as Jonathan. I think we'll talk a little bit about it, but they're all very different campaigns and different things. So I think it'll all be very helpful for everybody. Our friend that's up at 4 a.m. and such a champ, Steve.
Good morning. I'm Steve. Live on the Mornington Peninsula in Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to talk a little bit about relationship marketing. I'm a strong believer in relationship marketing. And working with other businesses.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Allison.
Hi, I'm Allison Taylor-Jones, and I'm in Mesa, Arizona. And I'm going to talk about consultations and making consultations better for your business, and also a little bit about continuing to learn during this time.
Oh, I love that. And you definitely have been, haven't you?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get started. Let's start, Marnie, with you. I know that you said about social media, and I know you've been doing some really cool things. So talk a little about that. And then just mention, I know you've been doing a lot of reevaluating and revamping in your home, in your studio, and using this time for all that, which is going to set you up for success.
Yeah, well, I'll start with that, and then I'll move to all of our little social media stuff that we're doing. One of the first things we did when all of this kind of hit was walk around our studio. This is super easy to do. Mary, I know you guys had someone go around with you with the iPad and get critical. We went through and just kind of said, okay, what needs to be updated? What needs to be revamped? Look, there's a ding on that wall over there that needs to be, touched up and repainted and things like that. We went into our ordering room and said, what in this room do we still want to sell? And what do we want to take off of our books right now? What do we want clients to see? So we pulled all that stuff off the shelves that we don't want people to see. So basically, we're really trying to use the time to spruce things up. I finally went back this past weekend into our storage room and cleaned that sucker out, y'all. My poor recycling guy this week, I felt so guilty when I put all that stuff out, that poor man. But we purged, it was beautiful. So all that stuff, I don't know about you, but for me, that just lifts a big weight off my shoulders, because every day when I'm actually seeing clients and I see those things on the walls, it wears at me. And it's like something hanging over my head that I can't ever get to. So I'm doing it now because I've got time. Now, as far as social media goes, so we are, our studio is very steeped in charitable marketing. We're kind of based in that. And in our community, we are known for the stuff that we do for our community. So we knew that if we changed our tone at this point in time, that it would really hit our clients weirdly, like they wouldn't know what to do with that. If we started kind of all of a sudden going, okay, guys, look, we have no income right now. What can we do? What can you do to help us right now? If we started on that tactic, they would freak out. Like, I really think they would think the sky was falling. So we are just focusing on distracting them right now, giving them fun things to do, giving them things for their kids to do. So these are the things we're doing. I'm going to go through the list and try to do it fast, and it'll take up like everybody's time. So cut me off, Mary, if you need me to shut up. I think we've talked about this before. I'm doing story time every day for the kids. So I videotape myself reading a chapter of The Secret Garden right now. We are almost done, which is really sad because that means we've been doing this long enough that I'm able to get through a whole chapter book. But we're doing that every day. And I don't have it on my desk. Got a thank you note the other day from a family who's like, hey, we've been listening every day, and look, the kids did self-portraits. And so people are actually engaged and listening, and it's helping some moms get some free time during the day. We are started, this week, we started doing a weekly photo challenge, really similar to what Kira Derryberry is doing, except she's doing it really cool and really involved. So if you want to see the right way to do it, go look at Kira's page. If you want to see the quick and dirty way to do it, go look at mine. Seriously, I've already got them made up. They're all in Facebook. They're all going to automatically post once a week. All I have to do is go in and comment and share when people actually do it. So it's just, again, a way to get them engaged. We are doing on Monday, we're starting an online scavenger hunt. We're going to do for 5 days. So it's stuff that the people can do in their houses. They don't have to go out to try to do anything. And then they can post all this stuff on Facebook. So what we did was we got our local businesses. We just put a Facebook post out and said, hey, who wants to be involved in something cool? I have a pile of gift certificates and just all kinds of crazy things on my desk over here that people have brought in. And so we're just tagging them in our posts, and they're sharing things so we can just kind of, help support them, which they love. And it's getting our name out there too.
Awesome.
All of this is so that at the end of all of this, our clients remember, oh, hey, she still exists.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's
just staying top of mind, engaging the community, doing fun things. I love the idea about giving mom a break. Those of us whose kiddos are older aren't experiencing that, but boy, do I feel for those homeschooling parents right now. I can only imagine. I know.
They're doing it.
Well, speaking of being, giving and being charitable and everything. Damian, I love your topic. I just think that that's so cool. Moral marketing. And, we talk a lot in the US about this, about, charitable capitalism. I mean, we've used that a lot, but tell us what moral marketing is for you right now and what you're doing with that.
Right now, I actually feel a little bit guilty. The mood in the UK is maybe slightly ahead of where you are in the US. People are very anti anything hard marketing wise. So the reason I say I feel quite guilty is we've taken a very social stance, which is quite a strange thing to do in the UK because we're generally quite reserved. We don't talk about doing things. And like many of you, we've set up lots of schemes where people can actually just get involved. So yesterday, Leslie, my wife, finished writing a page for our website, which allows people to go in and download some free colouring book pages. And we've turned it into a competition, but nothing to do with photography. There is no sales at all. Whoever wins in a month's time, we will blow their colouring up and we'll frame it and we'll give it back to them. So it's just a little bit of art that they can hang on their own walls. But it's just keeping us engaged in the community. We've got lots of little ideas like that. We were talking to some, because I mentor about 50 studios in the UK, and they range from newborn photographers to commercial photographers. So they've all got individual issues. And we were saying today, wouldn't it be fantastic just to open up client galleries, but not for sales, just to say, look, it's a bit rubbish. We're all locked in here. We've opened your galleries back up just because we thought it would put a smile on your face. And then to say to that person, you know what, Josh, or whatever the child's name is, they're 3 now, here, can you send us a quick iPhone snap of the kid? And then we'd put up a newborn, this is how they are now, and just engage the community on our respective sort of feeds.
I love that.
Do nothing with it other than just being there. One of the things that I did do, because I mentioned privately that my wife and my mum are in high risk positions, is one of the first things I did was join a local volunteer group. Because if I'm going to the chemist to get medicine, I may as well pick somebody else's up at the same time. Or if I'm going to the supermarket for food, it's easy enough to pick stuff up for other people. And that, without sounding crass, has been awesome for me because it's given me a real finger on the pulse of what people were feeling. Mm-hmm. And that's what enabled us just before Mother's Day in the UK, because I know we have different dates, don't we?
Mm-hmm, we do.
It gave us the ability to pull down all of the marketing that we had ready to go and just say, look, things have changed. It's not the way we want it to be. So instead of us selling you something, if you just let us know you're interested, when we come out the other end of this, we will happily give you a complimentary session.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a web res picture. Now, 34 years of stats tells me that 8 out of 10 people will make a purchase anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily us being overly generous. We know that there'll be it'll at least wipe its face, as we say in the UK. It won't cost us anything.
Right.
But it's just a vehicle to be able to be seen. And then hopefully once this is all over, then people will at least have a reasonably kind thought about us. I'm ecstatic to say that in my area, I haven't seen any other studio doing anything. So,
okay. So you're doing this stuff, and I love that, when you post that newborn and then they do share, if they tune in and they share that 3-year-old iPhone picture right now, that's proving to you that they're engaged and they're still following your brand and they're still interested. So obviously when things do clear, that's going to be the people that you reach out to and offer maybe that complimentary session or something, because they're already engaging, and that's what's telling us that's a great lead for 4, 6, 10 weeks down the road when we're back up in business. I love that, Damian. I'm going to move on to Catherine, because Catherine uses, I think Catherine was talking about pulling some archived images and using them. Am I crazy, Catherine? Because I absolutely am crazy, but I think you had talked about maybe doing something with past sessions and using that in some current marketing.
Yeah, so I mean, I've done this before, but this is a good campaign for, you know, a time when you have a lot of time to sort of comb through your archives. So what I do is I call it, it's been a while. And I go back through usually 3 years and earlier and pull old photos from clients who I'd like to have back. I mean, now that you have time, you can actually really refine that list and make sure that it's, you know, your AAA or your people that you really want to, you know, you'd really like to see them again, just instead of just the whole list from that year. And then I usually go through and pull a photo that they didn't order, so that it isn't one that they see on their wall every day that they may have forgotten about, or maybe they loved it, but they never ordered it. And then I just send a one-off email sort of saying, hey, you know, I've got time on my hands. I've been looking through my archives. Look what I found. Remember, you know, this must have changed so much since then, or whatever, you know, something personal. And then no call to action, you know, no, I mean, normally what I do with this campaign is I say, you know, I'd love to see you guys again if you feel like it's the right time for photos. Here's 3 openings I have. But in this case, I probably wouldn't do that. But what I do find is that this campaign is time consuming. Like, it can take 2 full days of just combing through my list and combing through my archives for the right photos. And of course you can't do it as a MailChimp because it's got to be all
very personal, right? Yeah. Very personal.
But even without the call to action, I find at least 6 to 8 people will usually come back and say, oh, you know, you were on my list. I was going to call you. Right. Thanks for reaching out. You reminded me to do this. So it'll drum up, you know, a good number of sessions.
So you send one email, you pull the image, you put that in the email. So you're not posting this on social media. You're going straight to the client. It's a very personal thing. Yeah. And you're going to get, I think, a lot. You can really calculate the results from that, because they're going to get back to you, or they're not, you know what I mean? And it may take them a couple weeks right now, right? Because, you know.
I don't know that I would do it now, actually.
Right. Just get it together.
For us, this is sort of winding up and coming to a close. I feel like now, I'm with Damian. I don't feel like it's the right time to be reaching out to anyone with anything like that. I'm doing similar things to what Damian said on social media, just sort of, in my case, reaching out to my doctor clients and posting pictures of their kids and saying, you know, I hope this brightens your day. Thanks for your hard work, like that kind of thing. But my intention with this campaign is to roll it out, you know, when things look like they're going to open back up.
Oh, okay.
But the prep for that can be done now, because it is time consuming. You know, it takes an annoying amount of time to comb through all those photos. And I mean, I get really like detailed about, oh, do I want to use that one? No, they probably liked this one, but they ordered that one. It's too close. Like, I get really into it. So it can take a lot of time, but we have time.
Right.
So that's my marketing idea. And then my sales tip, again, this is for when we get back to work.
Yes.
Something that I've been doing the last couple of years is when I have people come in for a pre-session consult and we talk about what they'd like to do with the work that we're creating, you know, where they want to hang things, what sort of sizes they're thinking of and formats. I really like to, we have that conversation, and then after they've gone home, you know, we haven't had the photo session yet. What I do is I follow up with a quote for the work that we talked about.
Yes.
So the conversation we have about the work we're going to do is usually pretty specific. And if they aren't ready to be specific, then I sort of lead them in that direction so that I can get to, you know, being able to work up a quote for them and send them some ballpark numbers. Now, what I find happens is it's interesting because probably about 20% of them just approve the quote and pay. Right. So I have people like paying for work that I haven't shot yet, which is just so wonderful and easy when it comes to doing the photo shoot, because we already know what we're creating. And the sales meeting ends up being 10 minutes long.
Right.
It's really easy because they already know what they're doing. The other thing that sometimes happens is they realize at that point, I don't know if we want to spend that much. You know, that's a little more than we were thinking about spending. No problem. Let's have that conversation now. Let's figure out, you know, what do you want to cut out? Or should we go smaller on those pieces? Or do you want to wait till next year for this one that we talked about? So we get all of that talk done, revise the quote, see how they feel about it now. And then, you know, usually at that point, they're okay with it. And then again, we end up knowing exactly what we're shooting, and the sales meeting ends up being really easy and quick. So this is something that I've kind of done, I don't know, for the last year and a half. And there's some cases in which it falls flat, you know, people don't answer, or they don't open the email or whatever. And then they just aren't ready to decide until they see the photos. But a remarkable number of people are actually really happy to work this way. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I get people just approving and paying.
Yeah, I know you do. And that was the biggest takeaway for me when I first, we started that immediately. We were doing something very similar, but you had a lot of really cool steps, and we don't have time to go into all of them today. That may be another great conversation, but the way she does this, it's true. You could almost put a pay now button on the bottom of that email. We send it home written from the consultation, but then that follow-up email, that drills it right down. So by the time we're in the camera room, it's almost completely done. Now there are some that can't make a decision, and we all have these happen, but boy, it makes our job so much easier in the sales room. I think that is just genius, and I love it. And I know it's something, Allison, I think you probably do very similar something to that, but you said you wanted to talk about the consultation. So maybe we'll head over your way and you could, right? Is that what you said? About it?
Yeah. Yes,
Good.
of course.
Lay it on me.
I always want to talk about consultations. So my overarching thing that I want to talk about really quickly is that, like, the first week of this craziness was really, I think, super, super hard and so scary, and like, what's going to happen. And this last week, I've actually been in a workshop with Steve Saporito, and I had signed up for this a month or so ago, and was really looking forward to it. And we were going to be in Denver, and then it didn't happen because travel. And so he went ahead and made that available online. And it's just been so great to be in that learning space again. You know, I think we lecture a lot and go to a lot of things, but to be in that space of being, I love to be a student. I read a lot, but being in that space for a few hours every day to be learning and thinking forward has helped my mental state so much, because I feel like, okay, yeah, when I come out of this, not if, you know, it's like, yeah, this is going to be done. This is going to be over. And then as I'm listening and we're brainstorming, it just helps you to move forward. And so I'm hoping that that's what this webinar will do for people today. So what I wanted to talk about is basically the importance of a consultation. And many of you may be doing consultations in your business. Some of you may not be. We do, at this point, we do all of our consultations in person for new clients. For existing clients, that's usually a phone call. But the new clients, I want them to come in. I want them to see the studio. I want them to see the portraits hanging on the wall, what they look like in the space. And we're just walking them through basically how it is that we work. Most importantly, we're establishing that relationship ahead of time. We're letting them know without saying it that basically we're interested in a very long-term relationship. We want to be your family's portrait photographer. I want to see these kids grow up. This is not a one and done for us. And so it kind of helps, because you can kind of see the people that are wanting to maybe do a quick one-off, or they're using minimizing language, like, oh, we just want we only want to do 8x10s, or maybe we only want to do holiday cards or whatever. Those people are not going to be interested in coming in for a consultation. They're not going to be interested in spending a lot of time with me, because they want to be little and minimal, and they're using that very minimizing language. And so that allows me to explore that with them. And a lot of times they'll think that that's all they want, but because we've spent time together and I've shown them the possibilities, they realize, oh, actually, I don't just want holiday cards. I do want wall art.
Right.
Or if they really don't have time, say that we're up against the holiday season, and they're like, I don't have time to mess with this. I really have just got to get my cards done. Then they'll say, you know, let me book a time for you in February. We'll come in and do the wall art then. I'm just going to call some girl in my neighborhood and do my holiday cards right now. And I'm like, great. That's amazing. Yeah. 10 girls in your neighborhood that can do those holiday cards for you. That is hunting squirrels with a 357 Magnum. You do not need me to do your holiday cards for that. So that's that. So the purpose of my consultation, I think sometimes when we think about all the nuts and bolts of consultation and like, how do we do it and what do we say and what's the step? For this purpose of this webinar, I just want to give you 3 things that the consultation does for me. And I think if you have those goals in your mind, then you will kind of know how to go through those steps. So number 1 is building that relationship. Then I want to define the scope of work, like what it is that we are shooting for. And then give them an idea of what that investment is. And so when I say define the scope of work, that really comes from my sister, who's an interior designer, and she's meeting with clients, sitting with them, and she would never walk into a room and sit down with the client and say, okay, now I've designed all of your kids' bedrooms, I've designed the closets, I've designed the garage, I've designed the kitchen, and I've done 3 different versions of each of those things. Now here they are. Now,
right.
You haven't paid me a dime, or maybe you paid me $100. And which one would you like? Like
Right.
It would never happen. And I think anybody listening to this would realize, like, your attorney's not going to walk in with 4 different kinds of contracts. You paid him $100
Right.
contract fee, and he's giving you 5 different contracts, and you get to, well, I don't know, can you make the verbiage over here from this one and make my butt look smaller in that contract? It's never going to happen, you know? So, but we do that all the time. And so it's just taking that working on spec away and saying, all right, Audrey Woolard, you're so awesome. I know you have these gorgeous, amazing boys. I want to do your family portraits, and let's talk about them. Give me the lowdown on the kids. Give me the lowdown on their relationships. And then she's telling me what it is that she wants, what her house looks like. And then as she's saying, I want to do dad and the boys, and I'm saying, okay, is that going on the wall? Is that going in an album? And so immediately at some point, she's going to get the clue that, okay, every time she's taking something, there needs to be a place for that to go. And if she says, well, I don't know, let's wait until I see the pictures. I don't know if I want that to go on the wall or in an album. Then I'm saying, you know what, look, if you don't have a place for it to go, if there's not a place for that image to live, let's not stress the kids out. Let's not make this go a long time. Let's not, like, we only have so much time to where they're fresh and good. So wall or album, and then it just narrows them down. And then at that point, once we've kind of figured that out, and there's a lot of steps to it, but then we know that's about this much money. How does that sound good?
I love that.
Then they know
what they're doing. And you know,
Yeah.
and Allison, I think, and you do a great job with this, but I love the idea of where is this going to live? Because this needs to, when you're establishing the fact that this is going to be an exchange, right? I will create that. And the exchange is you're buying it somehow. And this is a point I think a lot of people miss. And since she pointed you out, Audrey, let's go to you next. And I know you're going to talk about your beautiful work on and how you're using it on social media. And I've seen a lot of it, and your work is stunning. All of y'all's work is stunning. But, you know, tell us how that's working for you. But thank you, Allison. And somebody asked, number 3 was the scope of the work. And I posted that in. Was that correct, Allison?
Yeah.
Yeah, scope of
Yes.
work. Good,
Yep.
good. Want to make sure I got that right. Okay, Audrey, tell us about what you're doing on social media that's getting some good traction for you.
So every time I do something marketing related, I always like to think about what my why is, instead of just doing it to get likes and, you know, for clout or things like that. Just to give just a small bit of background, I've been in business for a long time, probably like most of you. And I'm really big on keeping my clients around. My job, I felt, is I don't want to have them in a position where they're going to go use someone else. Mm-hmm. So a large majority of my client base now are teens, because a lot of these seniors that are graduating this year, I have photographs since they were babies, some newborns. So I want to keep all of them there and maintain that rapport that I have with their families, so that A, they know that I'm still open, right? B, I'm still here. And I also think it's very important, because we are, for the most part, a visual business. We need to maintain having some form of our work out there in front of them. So combining that aspect and marrying it with maintaining that relationship One thing I did, and kind of going, and I'm a figures person, I like to do that. Social media consumption is up 40 to 50%. They are wide open, ready to see what we're doing, and it's such a open space right now. So because a lot of my clients now are teens, and in Chicago, we are under a stay home order, like don't leave the house, don't go anywhere, schools are closed. I'm looking for a way to stay connected now. So I started to do what's called virtual photo sessions. I have these teens get their phones, we get on FaceTime. On FaceTime, you can use the shutter button. The goal here is not to get gorgeous images. The goal is to give them an activity so that we don't have a bored 16-year-old asking why they're not there with their friends. That's not the goal. Get them in their closets, get something and go in your room, and I kind of like pose them. I have the mom, because I want to maintain that relationship, hold the phone, or a sibling. I don't, like that's really kind of like those rules. With that said, though, and I take them, do a little bit of magic with it in Photoshop. Like I said, nothing elaborate. I'm not giving them an image. I'm taking that and put it in my Instagram story as branded content. So I have templates made, my logo on it, and all of that. They tag their friends, and what this does are two things. A, it brings me more clients, right?
Yes.
B, their parents are really happy that they've got something to do, something that's positive. If they weren't thinking about booking me for 2020 or 2021, guess what? Now they're booking. Literally only done a couple, and what I'm doing is dropping them as drip content. So I'm not putting them up 4 or 5 in a row. I might do one on Monday. Next week, I'll do one on a Wednesday. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
And
yes.
I came up with a hashtag called Studio Quarantine. So I made this little, graphic. I started off with Studio Quarantine. Then I take the next picture that we did and I combine it with, I'm recording my screen as I'm doing these little virtual photo shoots. One half is a picture. The other half is, and I can put this in the group so you guys can see one that I did.
That'd be
and one
awesome.
is a behind the scenes. So it shows both of that. And basically that entire campaign is all about the experience. It's positive, they're having fun, they've got something to do. And what it does for the parent is, here's Audrey making my kid feel good, I'm booking her. So
Nice.
it really keeps that connection. And I find it's something that's very relevant kind of to what we are experiencing right now. And it keeps it very, very positive. So, I mean, I can go on and on about different things, but that's what I'm currently doing for the next 2 weeks.
I love that. That is so cool, especially those of us who have a studio that's really geared towards teens or tweens, or, and I have a volume studio, and I love that idea. I'm totally going to stalk your Instagram and steal it.
You can even with the younger ones, I would encourage like a Mommy and Me, because if we are still locked down for Mother's Day in the States, I would really have dad hold that phone, do something nice and fun for them to remember. Again, it's not about having a gorgeous picture. It's about maintaining that relationship and kind of moving forward.
And you get the behind the scenes as well. I think that
have to get the behind the scenes. The behind the scenes is the selling point.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And that's so relationship based, which leads me right into our friend who's just still standing upright, which I so appreciate, Steve. But I know you are all about relationships and how we can maximize and use those. Isn't this a great idea? Lots of great ideas here, Steve, and I know you're going to just add to it.
This is awesome. I love that. That was great. Thank you so much. It's just so hard getting new clients all of the time. So I'm a strong believer in relationship marketing and leveraging off the clients that you already have. And I'm coaching studios. That's my full-time job. All I do is coach portrait studios and wedding studios. And what a lot of my clients are doing right now is they're now taking the time to get the spack filler out, get the paint out, and we're creating a secondary design consultation area where now they don't have any excuses because now they've got the time to do it. When clients are coming in for pickup, we schedule the pickup, and then we take the clients back through their ProSelect file and just let them know, hey, just before we archive everything, is there anything else that perhaps you might want to order? And we're finding that there's a large percentage of people that will order another piece of artwork or just that extra piece. So we're finding that there's a large amount of money that's coming in from a secondary design consultation. It doesn't take anywhere near as long as the last one because we've already saved their favorites. We already know what they love. In most cases, they've ordered what they possibly could, but they've had 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks to regenerate their income, regenerate the credit cards, and they're ready to find something to spend that money on. And it could be us. So now they're taking the time to create a dedicated space for that. And sometimes because the studios are busy, the design consultation space is already, or the viewing, depending upon which country you're in, is already taken up. And having that dedicated space just allows you to maximize that opportunity with clients. And the clients love it because it's something that they wanted to have, but didn't buy in the day. And some of them are coming back and thanking us so much because they were too embarrassed to ask if they could see them all again. So it's a great way to leverage off what you've already done. From a community base, a lot of the people that I'm now training have tried this and it's worked really well, where we're doing a price match with some of the local businesses that we are that we're supporting. So getting in touch with some of the local businesses that you're working with, and in order, they're still trying, like the local restaurant is still trying to trade. They're doing takeaway or they're doing home delivery, and into supporting them, we'll put up on our social media, hey, so-and-so's open, I personally use them, they're fantastic. And what we're prepared to do is if you send us a photograph of the receipt, we'll match whatever you spend with them towards a photographic experience with you up to the value of, and each studio is different. And then that business is then advertising that on their social media and supporting us. And, you know, by the time you get around to 3 or 4 of the businesses that you genuinely would use yourself, we're supporting that business, they're supporting us, and they're getting lots of people taking photos, building up a reserve of money that they could potentially use towards their own photographic experience, and you can limit it. So some of them have said, look, we'll do it up to the value of $500 or $300 or whatever that is, wherever that comfort level is for that specific studio, because everybody's got different costs, everybody's got different risk factors, but it's been wonderfully engaging because the businesses are so grateful that they're getting some assistance from another business, and their clients are so excited, and we're filtering people that are genuinely interested in a photo shoot because they've got to take the time, make the effort to photograph their receipt, send it to us, and then we just track it through our databases. So that's worked and is working really well. And we're getting people now that are building up towards when all this is over, we can then book them in. We've got their name, we've got their phone number, and we've established a relationship with a business that perhaps those doors weren't open before. So now is an awesome time to reach out to businesses, and we're also reaching out to the ones we've already established, because we can't forget the relationships we've already built. So those third-party alliances, we're calling them saying, hey, what's your recovery strategy? How can we help you? And in some cases, maybe they want us to photograph some product for them. Maybe they want some new display photographs that we've already taken, but they would like some new ones. Sometimes they've got some sort of campaign that they want some help on because they don't necessarily understand Facebook or social media as well as we do, and we can tie in with them and help them kickstart their business when everything goes back to whatever normal is going to be.
Whatever that's going to be.
After all this, we don't know, right?
Okay, wait a minute. So wait. Let's recap here. Okay, because this is awesome. So first of all, the idea of when they pick up or when you're delivering. Some of us install. So some of us are going and install. Would you recommend bringing a virtual little sales room with us if we go to the home to install?
Some of my clients physically are selling on location. They're running out of the trunk of the car, boot of your car for Damian. And, you know, they're geared with a projector and their thing. And I would do it properly. Like, I wouldn't do it half-heartedly.
Yeah, not like on your iPad or something. Like, let's make it like.
Because if you can project it, if they're thinking of, oh my God, I would love something for this space, set up a projector, project it into that space, and operate the projector, make it go to size, and you can do that.
Okay, and the partnering with the community businesses. The match. Oh my gosh, that is just brilliant, because a lot of us are doing community partnerships right now. We're at least once a week blogging. I'm sending out 10,000 emails in my drip campaign just about a local business. Now I can take that and go back and say, up to X number of dollars, we'll give you if you do this much business with this company, we'll price match and give you that much credit. I'm done. I'm just going to shut this down right now. I've got my money's worth. I don't know about you guys. That's phenomenal, Steve. Wonderful.
About band words, rather than a credit, we'll give you this many dollars, because the word credit, especially now, is a real
good point.
Word. So, and photographers tend to use this word credit. We need to eliminate language that could install any sort of negativity. So people are much happier to have money to spend, or $300 towards whatever they want, rather than a $300 credit. It just is that
$500 investment, or $500 towards product, or what have you. Okay.
Yeah, $500 gift certificate. Just remove all the words that insinuate negativity.
Awesome. I feel like I just went to sales and marketing church. That's phenomenal. Okay. Phenomenal. Speaking of awesome, let's move to Jonathan. I did go to church. Let's move over to Jonathan, because Jonathan is doing something and is an expert on something that I spent all year trying to figure out. And Jonathan's like, he just has this they have the Business Success Academy all lined up and to teach us all about it. But I am a big fan of ClickFunnels and the whole idea of creating sales funnels and using them. I use them on Facebook, and I can tell you that our first funnel that we did, I got several hundred names. And by the time I kind of ran it through all my qualifiers for my business, we had 87 amazing leads that we are still working, which is really great. Now our sessions are on hold, but to date, from that one funnel, we've grossed well over $100,000 on one funnel, and we're not even halfway through the names yet. So tell us a little bit, give us a very short crash course, because I know this is a hours and hours long subject, but fill us in on what you guys are doing, Jonathan, and give us a little bit of a teaser on that.
Yeah, sure. So like you said, I've learned some stuff from ClickFunnels and Russell as well. He's a serious marketer.
He is serious.
But basically, so a lot of the kind of themes that are going around this call from everyone is relationships and the importance of relationships. And on top of that, what I'd say is also important is building a brand, but not in the sense of the traditional Coca-Cola style. So what branding means to me is being able to have a relationship with your ideal client. So I'm all about kind of giving lots of value, and you want to be giving so much value that you think you're never going to get anything in return from it, because my philosophy is that by giving in the future, that's going to come back to you, and you're going to get more from that. So one of the things that Facebook is very powerful for, on top of building your brand, is lead generation. So in terms of funnels, the idea of a funnel, my kind of description of it is it's the digital representation of your sales process. So whatever your sales process is in studio, from capturing your leads right down to closing the sale. So one of the things that you can be doing right now is, let me tell you this, I spend quite a bit of money on Facebook in my other business. I have my own company, and right now the costs of advertising on Facebook has plummeted. And one of the things that you can be doing right now is putting up lead generation ads, giving something of value that's going to help your ideal client in exchange for capturing their, name, email address, possibly phone number. And then instead of, I'm a big fan of, once you've captured that data, then making an offer to them. But instead of making an offer, one thing you can do is actually set up your own Facebook group. And your call to action would be to get them to join this Facebook group so that you can then continue to give them value and build that sense of community with Facebook Lives. You can run contests like Audrey is doing. I love that idea with the whole Instagram thing. So really, right now, you want to be focusing on your lead gen.
Yeah. Generating those leads and the qualified leads, because it goes in line with what everybody's saying. But if you create and Jonathan, just to be clear, you're not just saying just boost a post or create a Facebook ad. These are very intentional Facebook, they're ads, but they're incredibly intentional. I tend to do it as a sweepstakes. You and I've talked about this. I do it as a sweepstakes, and that's worked very well for me. And I not only need their name, address, I get how many children in their home, the ages of the children, I get their address so I can Zillow it and make sure that it's a qualified, because I know what qualifications I need for my clientele. I even ask them to upload their last family portrait so I can see, have they worked with a professional? Do they have something updated? I'm asking all these questions. If they spend their time and fill all that out for me, that's a really great lead. And they're probably going to fall in line with my existing leads and what I'm already getting. So just the difference between, it's not just a Facebook ad. It's a little bit more intensive than that. That was my learning curve anyway.
Yeah, and the beauty about it is, a lot of it can be automated with technology,
Yes.
and there's different types of funnels. You can have quiz funnels, for your top of funnel when they first interact, where you kind of capture that data and filter them through, that type of thing. So
yeah. Because, and I follow Donald Miller. I know your dad, I know Ronan and I both are story brand guides. And, one of the things that when I first read Donald Miller's book, Story Brand, the first thing that hit me was I did not have lead generation happening. And I did not have a consistent email drip campaign going out to those leads. I had this idea in my head that like sending a lot of emails was kind of maybe tacky, or people didn't want it. And then what I learned was that's not true, because the brands that I believe in and follow, they stay in my feed. They may end up in my spam folder, they may end up in my bulk folder, but I don't ever unsubscribe for them because I'm a believer in that brand. So I'm okay with the ones I generate that actually, unsubscribe for me, because they're not buying into my brand. Right? But when we create these leads, we can constantly have that email drip campaign going. And it's important for me. And even now, because I'm not selling, like everybody has said, I'm not creating emails asking them for business. What I'm doing is creating emails with content, which my next one is definitely going to be Steve's idea with how to negotiate with my community partners and do this nice, the idea that he recommended. But do you agree that these leads to work those and keep a constant drip going with those names, or how do you recommend using them?
Yeah, so one of the scary things when it comes to sending out emails that I found is that nearly every marketer I've worked with, studied under, or learned from says that you should be emailing once a day.
Yeah.
And people freak out about that because they're like, oh, I'm going to get so many unsubscribes, or people are going to hate me or call me a spammer. Here's the thing. If your content is valuable enough and you're sending them to the right people, then they're going to love it, because the people who unsubscribe aren't really interested in doing business with you anyway. Exactly. And they're going to probably unsubscribe at some point in the future anyway. That's
You're so right. You're so right. And, and it's savable and usable content. I think the last time we did this, Darty Hines was with us and he mentioned that. And it's true. I mean, and I think that we've mentioned this before, but using that 80-20 rule. And I do think you should be emailing every day. I don't, but I do email at least 3 times a week. And, if I email 3 times a week, 2 of those are just content. It might be sharing an article right now that I'm sharing about, learning tools for kiddos at home, my favorite books, whatever it is I can share. And then under normal circumstances, 1 email a week would be an ask. So only 80% of the time I'm just sharing and 20% ask, because if not, people will unsubscribe. If you're only asking, they're going to unsubscribe. But building those relationships, like Steve talks so much about, like what Audrey was mentioning, what Marnie's doing, you know, Damian, Catherine, all of you guys are talking about the same things, but using emails is a really great way to keep your brand present. So social media is one thing, but social media is tricky. It's hard to interrupt that pattern. It's hard to get seen. But an email in my inbox, if it's a brand that I believe in, I'm going to look at it, or at least I'm going to see their name every single day or a couple of times a week. And that's the importance. And I just think that what you guys are doing, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing with the Success of Business Academy. I think I had it wrong. Business Success Academy. I think I had the words backwards, but tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, sure. So basically last August, I approached Ronan and said, you know, would you be interested in kind of working together on this project that a lot of kind of small, medium-sized businesses and solopreneurs really struggle with, you know, paid advertising and with generating leads. So what we've done is I put together a course on, you know, using Facebook ads, funnels to generate leads. And what we're doing and working on right now is I've been working with Brad Bulmer, he runs a photography business in the UK, and we're building out kind of templates and stuff that we're going to be sharing over the coming weeks. And I'll also be doing some free videos on how you can kind of get started up with Facebook that we'll be putting into 3XM Insiders group. So yeah, basically we're kind of developing the content, the templates that are needed for you guys to use in your business to kind of get going with your lead gen and to teach you exactly how to do that. So
exciting. And we'll keep talking about that as you see, as coming. I hope you will, because it's an invaluable resource. Ronan, I want to just chime in because I'm overloaded with all this information. So I probably missed some questions. Is there any that we need to talk about?
The questions, I suppose, Mary, have been answered by the wonderful panelists that are here with us along the way. So most of the questions have been answered. I suppose.
So don't cut us off yet.
Sorry, Steve.
I'm still answering, so
you're still answering.
No,
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
So I think what I'll do, Mary, is I'll summarize the messages I've got, because I've just written 1, 2, 3, 2 pages. So if I can summarize that over 3 things. So for me, where we are breaks into 3 areas. It breaks into the survival stage, it breaks into the rebuild and then prosper again. And the think tank has been set up to help us with all those things. And this wonderful group of leaders in our industry have given us tactics and solutions and actions that we can employ at all those levels. So for me, the message I got around survival is that one is you've got to stay with a positive mindset. So, and one way you can do that is use the time to learn some new skills. So whether that's how to build funnels, or whether it's how to be better in the sales room, or learn a new piece of technology, use the time to do that, because it'll keep you healthy and focused. The second thing I got then about the survival piece is use it to stay front of mind. So we heard from Audrey and Marnie and Steve, wonderful tactics that you can adopt in your business, and Catherine, to not only put yourself in front of new opportunities and new business by partnering with businesses who before didn't want to know you, but now they're hurting. And you know, I've been learning sales for many, many years and teaching sales. And one of the things that you learn when you get into sales is that what's your client's pain? What's their pain, and then how can you solve it? Mm-hmm. And those businesses in our locality right now have a pain. Those potential clients have a pain. So Marnie's reaching out to the mum who's got young children, you know, who are driving them crazy, and she is looking after them for half an hour virtually with her storytelling. Audrey is looking after the pain of the parents of her seniors by taking them, making them feel good about themselves, and she's keeping her brand there on the platform where her client is. So that's really important too. What social platform is your client on that you can interact with them? And then if Catherine is reaching out to some of her AAA clients who are doctors and people of that stature who are really stressed right now, but by going through and spending time going through the archive of pictures that they hadn't got before, she's putting a smile on their face when they're in the most pain they've probably been for a very long time. So she's going to stay front of mind there. Then rebuilding your business. So you can use this to generate leads. You can use this to, whether that's online or by partnering with businesses like Steve had with the restaurant. I think that's ingenious, Steve. I love it, love it. And then Damian too, you know, it's really important as we're going through the survival stage, because we're all at this, yeah? Every business, every person is in survival mode right now. So we have to be careful that our marketing is moral-based marketing rather than pushing sales. That's the wrong thing to do now. I think that message was coming clear. But that doesn't mean that you don't market. Market, stay in front of your clients, generate your leads so that when we come out of this, you'll be ahead of the posse to rebuild your business quicker than anyone else. And therefore you will get to prosper again from your business quicker than anyone else. So they were the key lessons I got out of today.
Can I
interject?
We need to
yes, you can, please.
We need to do more than just survive. We need to plan to thrive after this. And I think it's a completely different mindset. I think right now, if we're in the mindset of just surviving, we're just going to do the minimum. We need our industry to thrive after this. And right now is the time that we can do all of the planning and we can set ourselves up to absolutely thrive. We're going to be an industry that is going to be so sought out after all of this is over. Historically, after any crisis like this, the public want to spend on middle to high luxury experiences so they can feel good about themselves. And when clients are looking to feel great about who they are, they're going to turn to us as an industry. So we need to do more than just we need our mindset to be beyond surviving, because once we get up, we have to be thriving as an industry.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that is so true, Steve. And I think that that's what we want. I was hoping today, and I think that Ronan, you summarized it so well. And Allison, I'll let you close. But that's what I want. I wanted us to talk about things so that we were using our brains and using our mind and our creativity and our soul and our heart to create things and opportunities that when we do come out of this, which we will survive this, that we are so ready to just be over the top crazy amazing. And Allison, you had your little hand up, so let's bring it home ATJ style.
I totally agree with what Steve said about planning to thrive. And I feel like the number one thing that came to me as we started, and I forgot to say it, is that if you do not have a database, go back. If you're paper, go back through. The first thing you should do, don't clean your studio. Don't do one damn thing until you get your database of your clients down. Like, forget making anything cute. Get those names and get it down, and then weed through those past orders and see who are your best people. You have to know who those people are, because those are the people that got you where you are, and those are the people that are going to take you into your future. And if we take care of them, and then they will take care of us, and the future is bright. We are going to get through this, and it is going to be awesome when we come out of it.
Love that. And that is so true. And on that note, Ronan, I think that this team is insane. I don't even know what to say. Thank you guys so much for your time and all your talent, all your treasure. I'm getting emotional. I mean, the information that was given to this group today, and anybody who listens or is going to listen, this is just priceless information. And every one of you guys are top notch in your field and as human beings. And I love you all. And I thank you all. And Ronan, I'll let you close.
Mary, what can I say? An amazing team. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Are lighthouses of inspiration, hope, and just for our industry. And I think the other thing that's really important, and I agree, and it's been mentioned already, but I think this is going to give people a greater want to capture their family and those special moments in photography. So I really do think that we will prosper and prosper really, really well out of this. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow's Think Tank. We have Kira Derryberry joining us, and she's going to show you how to use Adobe Spark. So join us.
Smart stuff, real techie stuff. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye, everybody.